Yes, guys, welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. It's Monday, and we are back with a look forward to a new game week, but also a reflection on the game week just gone, which is still going on. There are fixtures on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, joined by regular co-host Mr. Dean Jones. Dean, you are at Fulham versus Villa for the Ollie
Ah,
Watkins show. How did
yeah.
Leon Bailey look as well? Because I've got my eye on him. We're talking about Watchlist today. Bailey is definitely on mine.
Yeah, good, mate. Yeah, he hit the bar. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was always dangerous. He'd kind of get into little areas where he was almost unmarkable. He would be like too far up for Anthony Robinson to go and get him at times, but there would be no midfielder willing to go into that area of the field. And he would just end up like living in this gap, basically.
Yeah, he had like a Mo Salah average position map. He was sky high, wasn't he?
Yeah, he just hovers, man, and he's dangerous once he gets to him. He should have scored, really. I mean, there was a couple of situations where Bailey just took the wrong decision or just dwelled on the ball a bit too long. There was at least two other occasions I can remember again. I do this thing whenever Fulham about to concede, I just look away and I'm like, goal. And it really annoys Dylan, like my little kid. Like he comes to me, he's like, Dad, why do you always do that? Why do you always say goal before they have a shot? I'm like, just preparing myself for the worst, mate. It's mental rehearsal. But yeah, he should have scored more. But that's a bit painful. We had the worst referee of all time, mate. He was this referee, I can't remember his name now, but he'd never done a Premier League game before.
Oh, wow.
And they threw him in. Mate, they did a back pass where a keeper picked up the ball, nothing given.
Really?
Yeah.
That's so amateur.
It was like unbelievable. There were fouls given they just ignored. There was like how many VAR calls? There was at least two disallowed goals. Villa should have scored. I don't know if you've seen Moreno's offside goal.
Yeah. That was by a lace, and that would have been a Watkins assist, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, for me, that's a goal. But yeah, it was a ridiculous match, and that referee was an absolute joke. I don't like to tarnish people when they're trying to work their way up in their career, but he can do one. But apart from that, yeah, I was obviously 13 points for Ollie Watkins helped stem the pain, stem the bleeding of my afternoon at Fulham.
I love it when players come really close to scoring and you're like, oh, they're due. And then you bring them in and they do bang. So two players genuinely that I might be taking hits for this week are Moreno and Bailey. One at the bar, one had a goal disallowed offside. I'm like, that's not why I'm bringing them in. I'm bringing them in because Aston Villa are good and Aston Villa have got good fixtures and they also play in that blank of 29. So it's not a 4-point hit. If you're getting two lots of appearances from them, you're going to break even. So I like both those players. But yeah, good to see so many of our regulars in the chat. Freddie's with us, Ryan, Roger, British87, Ziad, CH, Leo, Matthew, Geddy. Good to see you all, team. Good to see some of my ultras, Matthew and Freddie, a few channel members in there as well. Ryan, good to see you. Yeah, Jamie's there as well. Geddy, Rest in Pilgrim. Hello, team. We'll make sure we have plenty of time for your questions today as well. So if you've got a question at any point, feel free to get them in. British87 had Hoyland, mate. He said he's in smoke mode.
Mate, how many weeks have I said about Hoyland now? Like 3. It's certainly at least 3.
It's getting funny now.
Where I've been like, oh, Hoyland is looking good. But I've also been in this dilemma, right? Well, I've already got Solanke and Watkins and Haaland's back. So there's actually no room for him.
That's the problem. Haaland only allows 2 forward slots and there's too many other good options. Haaland's ruined it.
Yeah, he has, to be fair. Geddy says, can't wait for Hoyland to smash Fulham. And obviously, yeah, that is the next fixture. Fulham go to Old Trafford at the weekend. I was considering going to this game. And I'm not going because...
Is it at Old Trafford?
It's at Old Trafford.
Didn't you go? You went with your dad last year, didn't you, to that fixture?
It was at Fulham, that one was.
Oh, was it at Fulham?
Yeah, that was at Fulham. But my dad supports Man United. And so my boy Dylan, he's got this thing, or he supports Fulham completely, but like he does like Man United because Granddad likes Man United.
And a bit like you then.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like what I went through as a kid, he's now going through as a kid. Like he's going through like this guilt. But also he kind of likes like Man United are a big club, obviously, so like Fulham aren't. And he wanted to go to that game, and I was like, okay, but remember you didn't like it last time. It's Fulham and Man United, and you feel a bit conflicted. And he was like, well, yeah, I want to wear my Rashford kit. Anyways, going for it. I was like, mate, if we're in the Fulham end, you're not wearing your Rashford kit. Like, anyway, we came to the conclusion we're not going to this game. We'll watch it on TV.
Easier.
and we will go to a different Man United game where you can actually cheer for Man United against like Sheffield United or something. So we'll be looking at that. But yeah, I mean, Højlund is absolutely nailed on to score against Fulham. Bring him in.
Yeah, probably is, mate. I know your thing of sort of being a United fan as a kid. I was never really a fan, but I don't like talking about this. I may have mentioned it once before publicly. My first football kit was the Sharp View Cam Black 95 Man United top.
Was it? People will not believe that because everyone thinks you hate Man United with a passion.
Honestly, I mean, I do. But so I started going to football sessions that as a kid, probably the year before that. And it was like, oh, Gianni doesn't have a football jersey to wear. So my mum went out and bought me one. And because all the other kids were wearing Man United kits, she just assumed I'd want a Man United top. We never really spoke about who I supported. I was, 5 years old, whatever. So she went and got me the Black Sharp View Cam top. And I was like, Mum, I don't really know if I support Man United. She was like, oh, because all the other kids were wearing Man United. I thought I'd get you one. And it was soon like put right. I think I wore it once or twice. And then she took me back to the shop under my dad's instruction and got me the 95 AC Milan home kit, which I was very happy with. And she was like, right, we can't afford to get you the full kit. So you can either have the shirt and your name and number on the back or the full kit. And I went, no, I want name and number. So not going with my dad, the football fan, but going with my mum, the novice.
Yeah,
I got number 2 on the back because my favourite player was Christian Panucci at the time, or I'd seen him play once and went, he's really good. So what kid gets number 2? And I played up front. And then she didn't know it was meant to be surnames, so I got my first name on the back. So I've got Gianni 2 on this 95. Like that team was full of legends. I could have had George Ware.
Have you still got this kit? Have you still got it?
I haven't, but I went and bought it. I went and bought the same shirt with Badjo 18 on the back, that 95 top for my 30th birthday. So yeah, I've still kind of got it.
Oh dear. I'll tell you what I've just noticed, by the way, while you were talking then, I was just trying to log in so I could chat to people. And I've had to restrict my YouTube because Dylan keeps picking up my phone and going through YouTube shorts and getting like this inappropriate content. And I'm like, it's bad enough he's even looking at this, but to seeing some of the, he'd be like, what's this F word? And I'm like, okay. So I've put on this restricted mode and it doesn't allow me to watch Chasing Green Arrows.
Oh my God.
I'm like, why is this not coming up?
Oh, I know why. So when you set up a YouTube video, because I do this all the time, you have to tick the box saying, yes, it's child friendly or yes, it's made for kids so kids can watch it.
We ain't ticked that box.
We haven't ticked that box, but we can tick that box because we don't swear. Unless Chai's on, who's
Chai is the only person to ever swear on this show. We have never sworn, and I've never talked about that, have we? But Chai came on one show, and I think he swore 3 times. So anyway, so I'll try and turn that setting off in a minute so I can chat to some of you in the comments. But how did your week go, mate? I mean, I got 64 points in the end, which isn't too bad considering I had triple captaincy on Haaland that's forgotten where the goal is.
Yeah, I'm not even sure my current points, but I'm happy enough as the way things have gone. I'm on a slight green arrow mid-game week, but I guess it's so hard with doubles to look too much into it. I think I've got 8 performances left, maybe 9.
Have you?
Because you go triple captain Haaland, that's 3 performances. Let's do my fingers right. Then I've got Foden and De Bruyne, so I've got 5 from Man City. Then I've got, Jota doesn't count. Let's not count Jota. He won't play. Let's assume Darwin gets some minutes. We don't know. That's 6. And then I've got one Luton lad because I benched the other one. I've got 7 performances. I may have forgotten 1 or 2. But yeah, so I'm fairly happy, I guess. Fairly happy. But I mean, Haaland clocked a 1.7 XG himself. Like he on another day, Haaland gets 2-3 goals. Jamie says, please don't. I have to unsub as fully monetized channels have so many ads that I can't hack it. Oh, what, Jamie? We're not saying we want to make more money. So what?
No.
Does it mean that if you say it's not made for kids, you have more ads? I don't think it does, Jamie. But we'll try it out. We'll have a little YouTube rethink with our settings. But we'll also, I've just noticed, Dean, I still use it. The Twitter bird is above your head, and it's not. It's X now on CGA_FPL. So we need to change that. And also, I've not called a show FPL Insight for about 18 months. We should probably change that.
I didn't even know it was called that. I thought we were just giving insight on FPL, and that was just a.
It was originally called that, though, wasn't it? I used to say, "Welcome to Chasing Green Arrows. This is FPL Insight." I think I did. I think I did.
Back in the glory days, mate. Shout if you were here in those early weeks when we were getting to grips with this show and whether it could last. We're doing all right. We're lasting. We're nearly at 7,000 subscribers. We're very close, actually. We're about 20 away, less than 20 away.
Ooh, are we?
Yeah, I think so. So let's get there. Let's get over that line. Like, this has been a long, long time coming. We are the most underrated FPL show on YouTube, even if I do say so myself. And we're going to prove it by answering a few questions today. I know a few people, especially Mark, got the ump on Friday with us not answering questions. So I promise you, we're going to get into questions. Here's the first one. Who is the best like-for-like replacement price-wise for Jota? Gee, that is right up your street. Who are you saying?
It's funny, I've literally just recorded a video on this same topic because it's the big story. Like, who do you replace Jota with? I've narrowed it down to 4 options. Leon Bailey, who's cheaper. Hwang, who's cheaper. Neto is cheaper, but the Wolves guys don't play in 29. But everyone loves Wolves now because they've just beaten Spurs, but they also have a really good entry point, as Big Man would say. So they play Sheffield United this week, so we see goals on the horizon. But also, I think if you've got a spare Arsenal slot, Odegaard, like, if you don't own Saka already, Odegaard, like, double Arsenal attack could be fun. Like, they're scoring goals for fun. So I like all those players. If Kudus or Bowen bang tonight, again, West Ham playing 29, so there might be some love there. So I would say, yeah, there's loads of options there, but we'll talk more about it in tomorrow's show with Big Man, Wednesday show.
Yeah, Big Man. No, that's fair enough. Nick says a stupid and to go to the easy move. Yeah, apart from the fact Luton obviously aren't playing.
You don't want to make that move this week, Nicholas.
No, so yeah, obviously not for right now, but over the longer term, yeah. I mean, Luton have got actually a decent run of games. They go through a spell where they play Palace, Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest, not too far away. So I would definitely have an eye on that. Doty is looking one of the best picks in the game right now. Jamie did say another comment about how FPL streams often have ads every 6 or 7 minutes. Jamie, I have actually committed, and I'm now YouTube Premium because I did the trial. And I just loved the fact, like, I don't work for YouTube. This is not an ad. But I just love the fact that, like, there are no adverts. No matter what I watch now on YouTube, there are no ads. And so, like, I got rid of Amazon Prime and got YouTube, and I'm getting way more out of it. Like, I'm loving it, apart from this restriction thing, which I need to figure out. So, yeah, if you haven't had the free trial of YouTube, 100% try it. I get it if you haven't got an extra 11 quid or whatever it is a month, then
shit. I just swore.
Oh no.
I've never sworn. I was just gonna say OS. I didn't realize it was that expensive.
Yeah, it is about 11 quid, I think. Yeah, I think it is.
What has FPL Chai done to me?
Oh mate, he's wrecked it. Look at him. He's laughing. He's laughing at us.
I thought that is, like, honestly, swearing on air is something you just don't do as someone that hosts regular shows.
If you're just like a streamer, or if it's not your job, then you don't think so much about swearing. But like, you and I have both been in jobs where you're literally not allowed to swear, and so, like,
yeah, we'd be off that job forever if we swore on air.
You just can't swear. Like, even on ranks, like on our like free main episode, I have never ever sworn. On the Patreon one, occasionally I do, just because I know that there's like not as many people there, and whatever, they're paying for it. It's a different environment. But like on a main pod, never swear. On here, never sworn. And Chai is absolutely getting in our heads. He's loving it. He's loving it.
Chai is in our heads for more reasons than one.
CH said it's fine because she said it's fine by YouTube now, especially if we're not in kid mode. That's true. We're not on kid mode, mate. Kids can't see this apparently. So
yeah. That's really interesting. We will change that and then never swear again. That's what we'll do. But I'm glad we're not on kid mode now, or we might get banned. FPL Gooner says, "Hey Johnny, it's actually cold today in Miami." FPL Gooner, regular watcher of the show, Dean. I met up with him in Miami last time I was there, and proper chaser. His son plays for Inter Miami's team as their star striker, and he's in the same age group. He's good mates with Messi's son, so the two of them are like the two strikers for Inter Miami. or like the
That
number
is
9 and 10. And
that
they're
is
like little bezzers. And Messi
wild.
goes and watches the games with Gunnar on the touchline.
What?
Yeah. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
That
Proper
is
cool. He
quality.
showed me all sorts of photos. I now follow Gunnar's son on Instagram.
That is brilliant. FPL Guna. I love that. I'm going to be looking that up later on. That's brilliant. Inspiration for dads everywhere.
Yeah.
Fab says Salah injured. Yeah, this is coming through that Salah's not going to be playing in this second match.
Hamstrings,
of the game
mate.
week.
We say it all the time, don't we? You got to be careful.
Yeah, it's not good, is it? So Liverpool definitely without Jota, very likely to be without Salah by the sound of things. And Nunez 50-50, do we reckon?
Yeah, I would say 40% likely just because of the cup final.
Yeah. I mean, mate, that finish, this is Darwin all over, isn't it?
It was just dreamy, wasn't it? It was
like,
and he did that 0-0. Like, that's the finish you see at 4-0 up, but not a 0-0.
This is a guy who's just like, you'd love to see it if you're Liverpool. You're like, everything he's been through, all the abuse he's got about his finishing and all this, and he's like, I'll just scoop this one over him. Completely.
Flecken didn't even go down, and he jumped. He stood up, jumped, and it still went over him and into the middle of the goal. It didn't just sneak under the bar. Like the sort of trajectory on that ball was amazing from Darwin. So good.
It was. It was absolutely brilliant. I got an interesting stat actually. So I was talking about this morning on the ranks. We were obviously assessing the title race and where we're at right now. And obviously Arsenal, like when it comes to goals at the moment, as they say, stadiums are empty everywhere they go because they're scoring 6 and 5 at these stadiums. And it looks like they've completely turned around their season. First stage of this year was all fine margins when it came to Arsenal wins. 1 goal here and there. Now they're winning 6 and 5. And Liverpool have been the team that I think I've typically trusted to go and blitz teams, right? And there's a really good graph that the Telegraph put together today. And it's all around the fact of the top 5 forwards, right, from each team. Right. So they've done a comparison across Liverpool's main 5 strikers or forwards: Salah, Nunez, Jota, Diaz, and Gakpo. And they've got 67 goals and assists between them this season. Coming up next is Man City, where Grealish, Doku, Foden, Alvarez, and Haaland have got 61 goals between them, goals and assists. So they're 6 goals behind Liverpool. So you're like, okay, that makes sense. Like both in a title race, their main men up front they're all doing the business. Arsenal, 47, 20 back from where Liverpool are, and whatever it is, 14, 15 back from where Man City are. And that takes into account Saka, Trossard, Martinelli, Jesus, and Nketiah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this is the thing that's a bit different about Arsenal. And because they are comparing people that play in the front line.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a good conversation because I do think that when it comes to a title race, you are looking at players that play across the front line as how reliable and responsible they're going to be when it comes to scoring goals and finishing teams off. But Arsenal are different because Jesus and Nketiah aren't dependent cogs on this, are they? And you are actually more likely to throw the likes of Havertz,
Trossard,
and I'm forgetting somebody else here, Odegaard, into the conversation as players who are actually going to be influential. It'd be interesting to see those stats tweaked to maybe include Odegaard and Havertz rather than Nketiah and Jesus. I know Havertz.
Or they use those same numbers, but then they've got to go. But it's 47 goals, and the cumulative total of minutes is 7,000 versus Man City's is 10,000. Then divide by, and then you get an average for goals per minute. So they just need to go one step further, in my opinion.
Absolutely. But so what I was going to talk about in respect of this, though, was obviously Liverpool like now having to call upon this depth. And I'd say out of their front line, Cody Gakpo is the one you would least rely on, least expect to come forward.
Yeah.
But now they're going to have to. How willing would you be to go towards Gakpo if you had to look for a Liverpool asset and this problem remained whereby Salah and Jota weren't going to be available?
I mean, if they played in 26, you could move straight there, but they don't. And then they play Brentford in 27, and then in 28, I think, or 9, it's like Man City. So the fixtures aren't kind to them with the blanks and the the opponents. If we knew going into the double that Jota was injured and Darwin was a doubt, we'd all have bought the Gakpo. But now I'm not so sure. So yeah, I think still a swerve because of the gaps.
Mark says he had Gakpo last season at times, never let him down. Fab says Odegaard or He-Chan for blank game week 26.
Well, this is the thing. This is probably a manager here, Fab, that's not looking at game week 29 and maybe going game week 29. We'll only have 4 or 5 fixtures. Rather than buy players now that are just playing in those fixtures, I'm going to buy the likes of Hwang or Odegaard and just free hit in game week 29. And that's a perfectly fine strategy. Probably one I'm not doing. Hwang or Odegaard, I'd still go look. What team do you rely on to get more goals over the next 4 weeks? I'd say Arsenal. And therefore, probably, if money's not an issue, I'd go Odegaard over Hwang. Hwang will play number 9 and that is on pens, but Wolves could still blank in a game or score 1 goal in a game. The way Arsenal are playing, and when you look at their opponents, I think they've got Newcastle up next. And then is it Sheffield United after that? Like, like they've just scored 5 goals. They could score 5 again. And Newcastle were poor at the back.
Yeah, I mean, Arsenal have got 5 games coming up where I expect them to be perfect. 2 of them are in the Champions League against FC Porto. I think they beat Newcastle at home. They got Sheffield United away, and I can't remember the third game, but I remember it was one that I was expecting them to win. And then for Arsenal, it does actually get tough. Like, you look from mid-March. So a lot of Arsenal fans, like when it comes to the title, will say, like, right, we're hitting form just at the right time, blah, blah, blah. Well, this isn't where it's going to be decided. Like, you've kept yourself in that conversation brilliantly, and you're starting to actually show that you've got more about you than I actually gave you probably respect for. But mid-March, you've got Chelsea at home, Man City away, back-to-back. And we've just seen that Chelsea are possibly got more about them suddenly, given the tactical changes that Pochettino's made. And still before the end of the season, they've got to go to Brighton away. They've got Villa at home, Tottenham away, Man United away. Like, this Arsenal team have got so many challenges still to come through the course of this season. Yeah. And the thing that I would be concerned about a little bit for Arsenal here is depth, because I don't know how they cope with an Odegaard injury, for example. Like that something like that is, I know you could say this for every team, but I think apart from like City with Rodri, which we've seen would be a disaster, Odegaard, I mean, Saka, I actually feel like Arsenal might be able to live without, even though he's like in the form of his life. I think they can deal with it. Odegaard, I don't know.
Odegaard's a key god. Odegaard and Rice, just the cogs in that. Everything.
Yeah, right.
Every phase of play goes through those 2 players. So it's like, who do you? Yeah.
So yeah, that's going to be a really intriguing time for Arsenal. But absolutely, for the time being, I would trust Arsenal across their next 3 fixtures. Newcastle home, Sheffield United away, Brentford home. 9 points for Arsenal coming there, and the potential for even more goals. I mean, even Porto is looking like a good fixture for them in the Champions League, where they could go and hammer them. So definitely good for morale this period.
Speaking of Champions League, mate, I don't know if you saw on the overlap, I think it was Carragher. Like, he was like, for Arsenal, like the only threat for them, Man City could win the league, but actually maybe Arsenal could win the Champions League. And other than Man City, I can't really see any team, maybe Real Madrid, that stand out as a team that could beat Arsenal in the champs. I'm like, are you serious, mate? British pundits bigging up their league. Really, I'm going to swear again. Really grind, like, hello Inter Milan, who got to the final and actually deserved to win last year. Oh, and are stronger this year than they were last. Like,
yeah,
Jamie, no, honestly, you're watching that and you're going, the disrespect you show, not just to Inter Milan, there's other teams in France, in Germany, in Spain, in Italy, like, that can beat Arsenal, Jamie Carragher. Yes, they can.
I have to say, we did a ranking on ranks. On the Champions League.
You didn't have Arsenal second, like most
last
likely,
week, and I had Arsenal ranked at 5 to win the Champions League.
Better.
And I don't think it's like that much of a stretch for Arsenal to get to this season's semi-final. I don't think this team's probably going to get to a Champions League final, though.
Did you have Inter at 3?
A step too far. Yeah, I had City,
Real Madrid, and City.
Real Madrid, City, Inter.
Good man.
I think I put Bayern in the top 4 just because they're Bayern, even though
they'll beat Lazio. I think we were worrying too much about Bayern. Like, Lazio are rubbish.
But yeah, interesting. I mean, Bayern are awful as well, as Geddy says there in the chat. Big up Leverkusen. Yeah, absolutely British. Leverkusen absolutely flying right now. That is a lot of fun. enjoying seeing Kane warming up for the Euros over there, just getting used to things, limbering up. He's not there to win the Bundesliga. Remember, people, he's there to win the Euros. Right, Vladimir says hello from Latvia.
Oh, Vlad.
That's brilliant. Chasing my mini league rival with one we tied last season, losing 100 plus points. So I went with triple captain Darwin and brought in Salah as well. Palmer for Neto. Already have Juan. Wow, he's really looking to make up some ground there.
Mate, I don't like those moves, and buying Salah early, fair play. Over 100,000 managers have already transferred Salah in, who doesn't play in game week 26, which is quite funny. If you transferred him in ahead of game week 25, like Vad, well played. Mr. V, let us know what rank you're at. People with Salah are so lucky, Mr. V says. When I last saw Mr. V in the chat, I think he was ranked around 100. Mr. V, let's see if you or Chai are on top. I think you're both in the Chaser mini league as well. Guys, do hit that like button today. We've got over 250 of you watching. It would be awesome if you subscribe to the channel. Can we get to 7,000 subs to very day? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. How did Chai get on this week? Do we know? I can't see Chai in the
I don't know. Because it's mid-game week, he might not have updated it.
Yeah,
he was 40, I think. Oh, Mr. V's down to 540. Shame on you, Mr. V. What a rubbish season you're having.
What a tumble. What a tumble. So tricky. I'm up to 800,000 from 900,000 so far in this game week. So there you go.
There's content creators, mate. Big FPL content creators on similar ranks to you, so you can't be too disheartened with that.
Mate, I judge it on my mini league and where I'm in there with my mates. And there's, one casual is 9 points behind me. I know this bloke, it barely looks at it. I think he might look at it for 10 minutes in the bathroom on a Thursday or Friday, and that's it. And he's 9 points behind me.
Yeah, it's annoying.
Drives me mad, mate. That absolutely drives me mad.
Bloody casuals.
Absolutely, yeah. But never mind. I'm still ahead of him, so that counts for something. If I end up in the top 4, I get some money, so I'm happy with that.
Nice.
Yes, could be worse, mate.
Let's move away from. We've pretty much done eye test, but let's just have a look at. We've spoken about Odegaard, so I'm just going to show you Odegaard's bonus beast graphic that we've done, because Odegaard did mop up the 3 bonus. So whilst we're still in sort of that conversation, Odegaard's 3 bonus points were the same as Saka. I think he clocked 45 in the BPS. And again, when we talk about Odegaard, he is a bit of a bonus monster because of his creativity. So 3 key passes, 61 accurate passes is good. Clocking the high XA. Sure, his goal came from a low XG chance, but he is an elite finisher. So yeah, really like that. It was 45 in the BPS for both of them. Yeah, so pretty happy if you're an Odegaard owner. And I do just wonder if, as a nice long-term hold, if he's the one. This average position map faces downwards, so you can see he's playing sort of central right. And it was really interesting. It was kind of like Trossard false 9, and Trossard, Odegaard, and Havertz were playing Trossard central, Odegaard right, Havertz left. And the 3 of them were pretty much in the exact same position all game. It really did work for them, with Martinelli and Saka slightly more advanced. So Newcastle, Sheffield United, then home to Brentford and Chelsea.
Yeah, it's nice, man. Goals. Yeah, and in the last 12 game weeks, Odegaard, remember, he had that little spurt. He was out for a couple of games with a hip problem, but since he came back from that, I think it's 12 games now. He literally hasn't missed a minute. Odegaard has not missed a minute for Arsenal. And I mean, his numbers in that time aren't sensational when it comes to goals and assists. But in the last 2 games alone, he's got 3 assists and a goal. And obviously that's come in big wins. But when you're looking at this spell of games coming up for Arsenal, I think it's reasonable to expect that he's going to be among the points. When you look at the map and the influence that he has, it's a consideration. I mean, he's not cheap. That's the problem. And that's probably why only 14% of people have gone there so far. But with
players like Hwang and Neto are so cheap. So if you do want to replace Jota and save money, and Bailey, Hwang, Neto, Bailey, they're 5 to 6.
That's where I think people are going to want to go, isn't it? You can see in the comments right now, John says Hwang for goals. British says Neto gets me assists, but Hwang gets me goals. I totally understand that. And from watching both of those players, Neto and Hwang, they just got that edge because of the positions they play and the style that they play with. There's that anticipation a bit more that they're going to actually get you a goal. Whereas Odegaard, you're typically expecting him to like hit one from outside the box if he's going to be scoring.
True. Speaking of which, and again, cheap midfielders that probably been overlooked. Rodri mopped up all 3 bonus as well for Man City. And look, we're talking about distance shots from the edge of the box. Like Rodri's really got that string to his bow, and
really
5.5% owned. How many times have we seen Rodri popping up with goals? Like he is clearly in open play, not usually or historically been a goal threat for Man City, but this season things are a little different, and he does see these late runs in and around the area where he finds himself unmarked with a free shot, and his shooting from distance is so on point, like 0.29 xg, but with a goal. You're going to get good bonus points if you clock a goal or an assist if you're a Rodri, because the amount of involvement he has, 118 touches, 82 passes, even a couple of dribbles, which you get, I think, +2 or +3 in the BPS. Obviously, all of his duels and tackles and blocks and interceptions. Like, if Rodri scored every game, he would mop up 3 bonus every game. But obviously, he doesn't always score. But he does. Bonus points galore.
Yeah, he's a really interesting player. And whenever you watch City, he's a player, honestly, that at that price point isn't bad, like sticking in your team for the season. It's like kind of that approach that I had with Declan Rice at the start, where I considered sticking with him for a season. Like, Rodri's got 6 goals and 4 assists this season at £5.6 million. If you just had him as a filler in your team, that ain't bad, is it?
Great.
That's a great place to be with an asset of that value. And next season, I swear I'm going to stick to this. I'm going to have a midfielder that is like a Rodri or a Declan Rice, whoever is in around this sort
Douglas
of price.
Luiz.
Yeah, Douglas Luiz, someone like that, who's around this price point, who is going to be playing every week and does actually weigh in with goals traditionally, and see if that works out. Gross as well. Bonus point machine, says Mr. V. Yeah, Gross has been like one of the FPL.
Oh my God. I sold Gross 3 weeks ago. He's had 11 points, 10 points, and 8 points.
Mate, he's like Brighton's best player.
I can't. We spoke like literally like 10, 11, and 8. That's just a mocker. Like, he's 6.4 million.
He's such a strange player.
I did it to buy Jota.
Because, oh mate, that's a painful one. Pascal Gross, let me just check he is. Yeah, like he's 32 now. I swear, like before he was 30, he wasn't even that good.
He's only just got into the Germany squad in the last year. Like he never played for Germany until a year ago.
The perfect poster boy for Life Begins at 30. Pascal Gross. Like, this is unbelievable. He's replaced Mitoma in that team as like the must-have asset.
Who are the other players that have got better with age? Because there's a few examples. Oh, Olivier Giroud.
Olivier Giroud, for sure.
Life only started at 32 for him. I mean, sure, Arsenal and Chelsea might say something different about that, but definitely Giroud. I thought Andrea Pirlo got better with age.
Yeah, definitely. There's been a few players.
Hit us with some in the chat, guys. Let's get your suggestions.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, let us know if you got any good ones on that point, because Gross is definitely one of those. Mr. V says Gross is De Zerbi's favourite, gives 110% every game. Sexy Beast says Gross versus United is a beast. Is that the next game? Is it Brighton? Brighton playing Man United?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. Brighton have got a good fixture. They've got No, I can't remember. Ricky Lambert, Thiago Silva. I don't know. No, British 87. Thiago Silva at PSG and AC Milan was the best centre back in the world. We just didn't talk about him because he didn't play in the Premier League.
Yeah, because the Premier League's the best league in the world, and that's why Arsenal are going to win the Champions League.
True. It's literally true. Thiago Silva at Milan was the best centre back in the world, and no one give. I'm going to swear again.
Yeah. Vardy, that's not a bad shout.
Oh, great shout.
That's a good one from Bozzy, even though it's probably painful for him to admit that as a Villa fan. What was I just about to say?
Benzema. Yes.
Oh, Thiago Silva. Do you think Chelsea stumbled upon a solution in defence? Do you?
Yeah, I do. Like, I adore Thiago Silva, and his leadership is probably missed when he's not in the team. But a couple of games ago against Villa, we had Badiashile and Disasi at centre back, and it was our best performance of the season. And then against Man City, it was Colwill and Disasi, and again, both just look like big upgrades.
Yeah.
He's just too slow. It's a pain a 2. It's a bit like when we had David Luiz. It was like brilliant in a 3, rubbish in a 2 for different reasons. But, you know, Thiago Silva's the same, and he has been fortunate in the latter stages of his career. He's found himself playing in a lot of back threes or back fives. This Chelsea team doesn't play that way. It plays with a 4, and he gets found out a bit for his pace.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Colwill, listen, it was better, but Haaland should have scored. I mean, Haaland got in front of him every single time. I know you like stopping Erling Haaland is nigh on impossible. But anyone that's like thinking, "Oh, I've made a mistake by triple captaining Haaland," I still don't feel like I've made a mistake, mate. Like,
the decision was right.
It's like you've got to triple captain someone at some point. He had opportunities. Like some weeks he would have scored at least one. Some weeks he'd have got both goals and the bonus points. There's still another game to go. I mean, it's just unlucky for us that's the way that game turned. Not unlucky for you because you're a Chelsea fan, but in terms of like a Haaland owner aspect, like it wasn't far away from being a good game week.
Yeah. Glenn Murray, Trippier, Vieira, Messi was, I mean, the best player in the world, both young and old. Carrick, Sheringham's not a bad example. He got his move to United fairly late. Berbatov was brilliant when he was young too, though. Same with Van Dijk. But some good Modric, yeah,
Ibra. The thing is, all those players, like some of them just changed position, or like you think of like Ryan Giggs. Ryan Giggs became like a different footballer after that age because he used to be a fast, nimble winger, and then his hamstring started to give up on him, so he had to become more of a midfielder, didn't he? He became like he sprayed the ball around a little bit at the end of his career.
Yeah, so, it was like doing a Pirlo. And Ross Barkley, he's not old yet, but he's
Ross Barkley is playing so
best player
well.
on the pitch yesterday, wasn't he? By a country mile, best player on the pitch.
I actually can't believe how well Ross Barkley's playing. I was looking at that Luton lineup yesterday, and I was like, this is just like a team of rejects, basically.
Chong and Lokonga.
This is a team of rejects and a few that have worked their way up from the lower leagues. And Rob Edwards has brought them all together and put together somehow a decent Premier League outfit. And Ross Barkley's absolutely running the show. He's brilliant. British saying Barkley ain't old. No, I'm not saying he's old. I'm just saying that Ross Barkley, he's
getting better as he gets older.
Like Ross Barkley could get another big move on the back of this. If Luton are relegated, he's not going to be staying there, is he? Like, Ross Barkley ain't playing in the Championship. He's too good.
Yeah. So, Neil Robertson in the chat had Barkley, and we spoke about it last night. And this is Neil Robertson, the former world champion snooker player. He was gutted not to get that Barkley goal because, again, he could have scored 2. But it's his open play threat. He's like literally the key cog in a very good attacking team.
Yeah. Do you know what? Like Barkley's one of those players whereby like it almost is like football's come so easy to him and he's so good at it naturally that like he's probably taken it for granted a bit when he was younger. He's probably messed about a bit off the pitch. He's probably not been fully focused, whatever it was that happened to him. Like Chelsea was obviously an absolute disaster for him and like that just didn't go well at all. Yeah. And you come away from that and you think that might be the last we see of him. And then he somehow finds it, and it's like a bonus season, really. Like he's got nothing to lose.
Yes,
he's out there it's like he's expected to be relegated. No one's expecting him to be any good anymore. And actually, he's becoming one of the best midfielders in the division again. It gives me hope for someone like Dele Alli. Maybe one day, we can see Dele like be reformed and he can watch what Ross Barkley's doing. I'd love to have Dele back in this game. Imagine what Dele should be doing for us right now in FPL.
Yeah. He should be in his best years now, going into them, as Barkley is. Do you think with Barkley, and maybe you could say similar with it's hard to say with Dele, it's probably a slightly different scenario, but with Barkley, thriving into being the bigger fish in a smaller pond, do you think? Because at Chelsea, he obviously minutes were never a guarantee. In fact, they were far from a guarantee. But maybe he liked being that main man, that key cog, which you're going to struggle to be if you move to a Chelsea or
maybe now he's experienced that from Chelsea. It could possibly be that. I genuinely think it's a lot about influences off the pitch and your environments around the training ground and stuff. So there is definitely a lot of that. We've already seen Dele Alli's interview and stuff, and the other issues he's had to contend with, which is so hard to come back from. But yeah, I mean, Repent says Barkley for week 28.
Double. It's a good double game week for Luton, though. It's Bournemouth and is it Sheffield? No, who
Palace. Palace is the other game. Palace and Bournemouth. Yeah. So is Barkley a good FPL asset?
Going into the game week, the last couple of weeks, I looked at his points and went, yeah, he's deserved them. He's been brilliant, but was a bit worried of his average position. I thought he was going to be a bit too deep, a bit more Pirlo, like spraying passes.
Yeah.
But that was me just looking at stats and numbers and match of the day highlights without watching over 90. Watching him over 90 yesterday showed me that actually, whilst he often will pick the ball up deep, he's not playing as the DM and actually he's box to box. And the way he played yesterday, going into game week 28, if you're looking for a doubler, and if Luton do get a fixture in game week 29 confirmed against Nottingham Forest, they should do, because Forest should lose to United and Luton should lose to City. So that game in 29 should go ahead. And if that's the case, Barkley's a brilliant asset.
Yeah. Adam's got triple Luton. Who thought they would have triple Luton?
I've got double. I mean, yeah.
I mean, but it's not a bad thing.
Doherty's amazing. Did you see Doherty yesterday? Like, could have scored. The amount of crosses.
He's on free kicks. He's a really good player. And the thing is about Luton is, yes, they'll concede goals, but they'll score goals and they're causing problems for people. Like when that game went to 2-0, you're expecting that to end up 4 or 5-0.
Yeah.
And it's gone the complete other way. And like, if it ended 2-2, it might have been fair on Luton, to be fair. Like that.
I mean, Casemiro's got to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's after what, 30 minutes? Like that was an absolute, not just for that tackle, but at half time, Sky showed 4 or 5 tackles. It took him 4 tackles, bad, arguably 3 of them were yellow cards, to get yellow carded. And then the second, it was just so United tax. I'm sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, he's on his way out, isn't he, Casemiro? You're a former Man United supporter, mate. You've just revealed that earlier. That's Mainu just looked like an adult playing with kids. Kobbie Mainu is absolutely ridiculous. And someone asked about Calvin Phillips earlier. Look, I would love it if Kobbie Mainu could replace Calvin Phillips in the England squad. I just don't see Gareth Southgate to be brave enough. I mean, that is the right thing to do. You reward someone who's putting in unbelievable performances, riding the crest of a wave, compared to somebody who's doing like Jonathan Woodgate 2.0 from Real Madrid, who's just like having an absolute nightmare. I like Calvin Phillips, but obviously, like, this ain't a good moment in his career, and certainly not good enough to be going to a major championships.
Obviously, he's getting in the squad. Do you think Calvin Phillips? Because I do. As long as he keeps getting minutes for West Ham, it doesn't matter how bad he's playing. If he's getting minutes, he'll start for England alongside Rice. No. Just like Maguire started for England when he was having that spell.
No.
He will. No. Honestly, Southgate is the one and only thing stopping England lifting the Euros, I'm telling you. I think my best performing tweet of like the last 6 months was literally me retweeting a tweet saying, how can this midfield trio stop... what can stop this midfield trio winning the Champions League? And it was a picture of Bellingham, Rice and Foden. Firstly, Foden will never play in central positions for England because Gareth doesn't play like that. Good luck with Foden out on the touchline where he's good but not world class. And I just retweeted it with one word saying Southgate, like, what can stop this trio winning? And it's like over 1,000 likes. Like, my tweets never get over 1,000 likes. And it was just like, I didn't even think about it. I was probably on the toilet when I retweeted. It's funny.
CH, we know what Dean's most popular tweet was. Yeah.
Oh, come on, Dean, tell us, because there's loads watching that don't. I know.
Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, so when Fulham had that... I can't remember what her name was now, but the first female referee ever for the Premier League. It was a match against Burnley earlier this season, and my wife came to the game. It was my wife's first game, and I took a picture of her at the train station with my little boy, his Fulham stuff, and I said something like, first female official ever to ref in the Premier League. We're on our way to Fulham v Burnley, and it's my wife's first game too, and somewhere in the midst of all that, like, well, half the people fancied my wife, half the people were abusing her and my son, half the people thought she was the referee. It was an absolute chaos tweet that got millions of views. Not the only disappointment from that tweet. The main disappointment from that tweet is I didn't have a blue tick at the time, so it wasn't monetized. I signed up about a week later.
You would have made
That's
some
annoying.
all right. There's a few drinks that night on you.
I'd have made a few quid. Yeah, I'm not saying it would have changed my life, but it might pay for like a few beers, maybe even dinner.
There we go, guys. We've got to see our team. So let's see our current points, shall we? We don't want to read too much into mid-game week ranks and all that jazz. And if you're having a bad game week, genuinely, there's so much to play for. Like, do not forget how many performances you've got left. And when you put in your triple captaincy in there, you might have 7 or 8 performances if Haaland counts for 3 remaining, maybe even more. So, Dean, not too bad a start. Kyle Walker with the assist, finally.
Oh, phew. Yeah, phew. Kyle Walker coming back with some points. That's a good thing. Feel a bit unlucky on Bradley. Feel like that was...
Yeah, he was good when he...
performance
And you
worthy.
called the start, to be fair, because you went early on Bradley.
Absolutely. I did go early, maybe too early. It was a bit risky in the end. But yeah, disappointing for him to get 2 points, because on another day, that's a clean sheet and attacking points as well. Like, that could easily have been double digits for Bradley on another day. So that was a shame, but obviously hopeful that he does play again against Luton. We'll have to wait and see what kind of lineup they actually go for. Glad I managed to get Gordon into that team.
On the penalty as well, mate. Well played. Playing number 9.
Phew. Honestly, I think that's one of the main... That might be the main pick that actually has given me any extra for a green arrow here.
Yeah, that's a big pick, because a lot of sold Gordon. Also, you didn't have Darwin, so you had Solanke and Watkins. That's another big thing for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Glad I didn't captain De Bruyne like I said I was going to do, but did captain Haaland and he didn't get any more points. So
De Bruyne was 1 BPS off getting bonus points.
Was he
1
really?
BPS. All he needed was like one little thing, like, one extra pass or something.
Yeah, that's frustrating. But yeah, the show goes on. 64 points so far, not too bad at all.
Nice. Yeah, good work. Good work. Let's have a quick look at mine. We're going to answer your questions at the end of the show, guys. Stay tuned. And whilst you're waiting, get us to 7K subs, will you? Hit the sub. Hit the sub. If you don't hit the sub because you're already subs, hit the like. How am I doing? Dean, one thing we should try is, I do on my show subscriber only chat. So if you want to add to the chat, you've got to subscribe. So it's almost like blackmailing them.
Actual blackmail.
But I wonder if we ask the chat now to give a genuine answer and we do a poll, what percentage of you in the chat are subscribed? I'm guessing over 90% already.
I reckon they all. I mean,
should we ask them though? Should we do a poll?
Do a poll. Whack it up if you can. Do you subscribe to CGA? And let's see. I'll be honest. Like, if you don't, just say it. We don't actually care, because you're still here every week. But yeah, let's see how many of you actually subscribe. I can't actually see the poll because I can't get onto our show on YouTube.
It's not up yet. I'm sure we'll get this next. I had Saka 2 back-to-back 15s. Like, I do really feel for those that sold Saka, because I was close to doing it about 3 weeks ago. Like, we discussed it quite a bit on this show. He was out of form. Arsenal weren't scoring tons of goals. And it just felt like we might need some money to get on the likes of Jota or De Bruyne or Foden or whoever. Fortunately, I kept him. I could say similar for Watkins. Like, both of them were pretty vulnerable in my team a few weeks back. So I got a bit lucky there that I've kept them both. Estupinan has probably been the worst buy of the season. Him coming on for 9 minutes has blocked Bell coming off my bench, who has another fixture. I mean, Bell's only on 1.2. But still, it's just annoying. And Estupinan, I probably need to sell for a hit now. Like, he's not been in the 11. I think he's clearly in Brighton's best 11. And De Zerbi spoke about him being world-class not long ago. Like, De Zerbi, there must have been something that's gone on there. I think I might sell him for Moreno, and I think I might sell Jota to Bailey, and I think I might sell Darwin to Solanke. Wow. If I make those 3 moves,
it'll be a wild card, mate, isn't it?
Yeah, it'll be a -8. But that will get me 11 out for next week, because as things stand, I have 8 players out, or 9 if Estupinan gets minutes.
Yeah, I was looking at mine earlier. I was thinking, do I take a hit next week? And I was interested to gauge how many people are going to be taking hits. I assume most people will take a 4. Wasn't sure you would take an 8, so that's interesting.
Yeah, it's more just with the thought of, if I'm not free hitting in 29 and I get those, it's not a 4-point hit, it's a 2-point hit if they're getting players out and they get the 2 appearance points. But if they're also playing in 29, and I ordinarily would only have 7 players, and it gets me 8 or 9 players by taking the hits, then actually I break even just from appearance points if the likes of Bailey and Moreno and Solanke, it's not Solanke, he doesn't play in 29, certainly the Aston Villa guys, they should, in theory, break even just on appearance points. There is always a risk with players like Bailey. Could he be hooked on 59 minutes? Absolutely. Could Moreno miss a game because he's been poor and Dean comes in? Absolutely. But as things stand, Moreno and Bailey have been very good and are cemented in the first choice 11.
Yeah, it's strange, this Bailey Diaby thing, though. You never know when the other one's coming back.
He can't play them both, though, because he's tried that and it does not have the right balance, does it? So he's tried both and it's rubbish. Did Diaby come on for Bailey? I guess he did.
I don't even remember. I'm imagining he did.
Bailey came off as he always does.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. I'm at the game and I'm not even remembering.
Diaby should be in the 11. He's the big money buy, but the way Bailey's been playing of late, he's been hard to drop.
Yeah, it came on, but only last 10 minutes it was. Yeah, that's probably about the minute that I left, actually. But yeah, so you got the last 10 minutes. But yeah, bit of a... you'll probably be fine. You'll probably be fine, but...
Aston Villa Bozzy's in the chat. Let me know, Aston Villa Bozzy, what you think. I think Bailey started 10 of the last 12. Let us know about Dean as well, because I think Moreno's been playing well enough to keep the spot. But obviously, Dean is a great left back as well. What do you think, Dean?
Yeah. Oh, Bozzy's just said Dean is back now, Gianni. Just be careful, as he was brilliant, and so were Villa until he went off injured at 2-0 at Old Trafford.
But Moreno's first choice, clearly.
The thing that changed Aston Villa at the weekend was the Pau Torres was back.
Oh, really?
That is what changes Aston Villa.
Longlay's not the same player.
They had fallen off. They were falling off a cliff when Pau Torres was not in that team, and he was back in the team. And the way that he can get play going again is just different. Like no other Villa player can play the ball out the back like he does, and he's also defends well.
Good bonus point threat as well because his passing's so good.
Yeah, I think he's a good asset. I really do. I think Pau Torres is very, very important to that Villa team.
Would you go Pau Torres over Moreno then, Dean?
Possibly, mate. Yeah,
because Moreno obviously Moreno. If they're both playing 90, you go Moreno. But because of the fear of Luca Dean,
Pau's 100% playing. 100% playing, and he's still got some threat to him. So yeah, I have to say, I do think that there is a reason to consider that.
Okay, good to know. Good to know.
Right, last few minutes, people.
Yeah, a couple of questions for you guys. We'll let you know what decisions we make on Friday. Dean and I will be streaming on Friday with our team selections. I'm just thinking, is there a Friday? I think it's a Saturday deadline again, which is nice. So we'll be back Friday lunchtime as normal. Get your questions in, team. Did we ever hit 100 likes? I don't know if we did.
I don't know. I can't see it, but
oh yeah, of course. Sorry, I forget you're not seeing the chat. 300. No. 300 are watching, 82 likes. If you want to hit the like button, you can.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we're still not hit that 7K, but yeah, last couple of minutes. Right, Palmer to Saka and Darwin to Solanke. -4 for me and have full 11 out.
Yeah, I think Neil's one of we spoke about earlier, those that sold Saka just now probably have to get him back. They just do. He's been that good. I would say with the other moves, Solanke, the entry point, as we speak about a lot, is bad, but it doesn't matter. It's Man City at home, but you want Darwin to become Solanke, so you just got to go this week because then you get his minutes versus City. And then I think he's got Burnley before a double game week of Sheffield United and Luton. Solanke's a must.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Neto or Hwang, it's a nice fixture coming up for Wolves. Sheffield United at home.
The analytics guys will say Hwang. The data guys say Hwang. The eye test guys say Neto.
I was going to say, if it's just me watching, I want Neto. But we've seen how consistently Hwang has returned throughout the season and last season, to be honest. I like Hwang a lot.
Best Porro replace. If you can afford an extra Arsenal defender like Saliba, just go to Saliba. I was 0.1 short, so I went Porro to Doherty. I think you can also look at Aston Villa defence for cover in 29. Yeah. Knowing Pau Torres is back and they'll be more likely to keep clean sheets. Aston Villa defence, don't forget, not long ago, everyone was raving about them. They've just not kept clean sheets of late, but they've had injuries.
Okay, so this guy says, I'm chasing the top guy and I'm 18 points away. I took a -4 hit for 2 transfers, but I've got Dubravka against Gabriel, Saka, and Odegaard, all in my team.
Oh, that's
I think I should
fine.
take -8 to change my keeper.
No, like at times you will have attackers playing your defenders, and you can't every week go, "Oh, I'm backing Arsenal, so I can't own any Newcastle players." Like you've just got to take the rough with the smooth, and at times your guys will play each other. On paper, Dubravka's still an okay own. Like you've paid nothing for him, and the fixtures for Newcastle, I'm pretty sure, are about after the Arsenal game are pretty good. So you might get a couple of clean sheets. I mean, will you get clean sheets? I don't know. At the weekend, when did they concede? Second half to that Solanke error. Like at one point, I was like, Newcastle keeping a clean sheet here. I don't think there's an obvious replacement for Dubravka.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm going to do Sean's, and then we've got a challenge for you from Neil Robertson. Sean says, do we need to start thinking about Son coming back into our team soon? I've already got him. I've kept Son. And I think given that Tottenham's turnaround now, Son leading the line, as of now, I think we're going to see Son coming back into the goals. So I say you do need Son back. Yeah. Neil Robertson, can Gianni put a long straight ball, please, before closing the stream? Is this viable?
I mean, I can do a straight ball. Whether or not it's a long shot, I don't know, because my room here is too small. So when it's a long shot and the ball's close to the cushion, I'm up like this. So I'll go as far. And it's got to be this pocket for you guys to see it. So I will attempt it.
There we go.
But I think it'll be fairly easy if it's straight, Neil. So I might even get cocky and go left-handed with it if it's dead straight.
What?
I don't know. Let me see. If it's really straight, I can't hear you, Dean, but I can't hear anyone. Where's the cue ball? Jesus.
This is peak
white?
TV.
Oh, no, here it is.
This is peak
right.
CGI.
I mean, it's sunny in here. Like if it's dead straight, yeah, I could probably do it from here. That feels fairly easy. I'll do it right-handed. Okay, right-handed. This is as straight as I can go. Neil's going to have to give me some cueing tips. Oh my God, I missed. I promise you. I caught that.
How many people in the chat are laughing right now?
I'm embarrassed now because I've got a former world champ watching me and I've just missed.
He's going to miss
something
again.
I said I could do with my left, with my right.
He's going to miss again.
Okay, my hand didn't catch anything there. I'm going left-handed.
It's the nerves.
Bloody hell, I did it left-handed.
He's done it the other hand. Oh, mate.
That's my headset.
That was what an experience. Shocking. What an experience that was here.
That was absolutely shocking.
Well, it was the nerves, mate. I mean, I'm sure Neil Robertson's never felt anything like that in his life, mate.
Who needs the crucible when you got Gianni's front room?
When you got front room and 300 streamers watching.
Honestly, I've never been told how to hold a cue, like as someone that's only ever played in like pubs. And I always wonder, and I guess I've not watched enough snooker to know, should my legs be straight or bent? Like, because I'm tall, sure. I'm quite high. And when I watched it back the other day, I was like...
Don't you have like the front one bent and the back one straight, isn't that?
No, they're meant to be level. They're meant to be square on. Neil, will you let us know?
Yeah, that's how we're going to end the stream.
I think you're meant to have slightly bent knees. And I don't think I do.
One pretty straight and one bent. Yeah.
Oh, well played. Yeah. You called that, mate.
Yeah. Well, I did. Walton did used to have a snooker club, so I did have a membership until they tore the thing down. Terrible decision. Walton Snooker Club was a great little place. There's now have to go to. I think Woking is our best snooker centre now.
You don't get many, do you? You don't get many snooker clubs anymore. They've all just been knocked down. And...
Growing up, like when we were in college and stuff, like it was one of the only places you could go that was like
get served.
Yeah, you could get served and also not be in like really rubbish environment. Like if you just wanted a quiet night with a few mates, you could just go down there, have a couple of beers and play a few frames. Like that was actually great. Yeah, absolutely.
My mum and dad met in the Bedford Snooker Club. My mum and dad met there, yeah. They had pool tables and like people would go there on a Friday night. And the story goes, my dad said, my mum and her mate went up to my dad and said, can we play doubles? And my dad went, yeah, as long as I'm with her.
What a line.
And it bloody worked.
Oh my God. Funny because when we play pool in America, it was actually early days. And we were in a bar. We started playing pool, and they were like to me, "How come you're so good at pool?" I was like, "Well, I spent most of my childhood just in a pub while my dad was at the bar, and there was nothing else to do. So I just played pool and darts for about 5 years. wouldn't say it's like that great an achievement, really. I'm just like not even that good. I'm just quite good."
Oh, that's brilliant, mate. Seeing as we've never met in person, can we book in a date where we just spend an afternoon in a pub playing pool darts and watching football?
Just stream me and you in a pub with a pool table, game of football in the background, and we just slowly get drunk throughout the day. And every day I'll pop over and say hello to everyone.
Sounds absolutely dreamy, mate. Yeah, we can beg people for super chats for taking advice to drink every time.
Yeah, do that thing. There's that thing on Facebook. The Weatherspoons game. Have you seen it?
No.
So you know in Weatherspoons, like you have your table number and you can order through the app. And so there on Facebook, there's a group, and you can be like, right, I'm in Kingston at the whatever it's called, Kingston, table 26. Post a picture of yourself, and people within the group will just start sending drinks to your table, and people will be sat there, and suddenly the table's just full of drinks. They got pints, they got shots, they got a cocktail. Oh, mate,
oh my God, that is amazing.
It's funny. Like sometimes a bloke will pop out for like a lunch with his wife, and suddenly someone's delivered him like 6 pints of Foster's, and she's got no idea what's going on. And he's like, "Look, I haven't bought these. Someone's just sending them." And she has no idea.
Mate, as CH says, I'm all over this.
Your
This is literally my perfect afternoon. Free stuff in pubs, yes.
There you go.
Great. Oh, I've enjoyed that. Apologies if you've just tuned in and gone, what the hell are you guys on about? Or if you tuned in to see me miss 2 very easy blacks that I said I could get with my left hand that I missed with my right. I even pretended to hit the rail and had to move it and said that was why I queued right. We'll be back on Wednesday with Big Man Backer, where there'll be no pool, but there will be some stats and some data, I'm sure. And Dean and I'll be back on Friday, where we will be doing our team selection vids. So do tune in. But for now, good luck for the rest of this double game week. Liverpool City, let's hope for goals. He's been Dean, I've been Janny. You lot have been the amazing chasers, and we've all been chasing green arrows.